Supreme Court grants local governments financial autonomy. Meeting between organized labor and President Tinubu on new minimum wage ends in deadlock. Defense headquarters says terrorists are targeting critical national infrastructure. On the foreign scene, Kenya's Ruto dismisses almost entire cabinet after deadly protests. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News with me, Shegun Ojumu. Begin with news that in a landmark judgment this Thursday, the Supreme Court of Nigeria has endorsed financial autonomy for the 774 local governments in the country, putting an end to their abuse of their affairs by the state governors. The apex court in the ruling barred the governors from receiving, tampering, or withholding funds meant for the local governments. Trust TV's Newell Sampson, who witnessed the ruling at the Supreme Court, has more.
In the lead judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Akomaye Agim, the Federal Account Allocation Committee was ordered to henceforth pay directly all money standing to the credit of local governments in the country. The governors were also barred from dissolving democratically elected officials for local governments, adding that doing so would amount to a breach of the 1999 Constitution. Some local government officials present at the Supreme Court for the judgment reacted to the apex court's ruling.
Finally, freedom has come to the people of Nigeria. Freedom has come to the people. The democracy can now be entrenched in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Our people can now see rapid developments. So we just want to thank God Almighty for giving us a president like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has had the courage to take this step by coming to the proper place to say, let the proper interpretation be made to give life to the third tier.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no winner, there's no loser. The Nigerian people will enjoy the benefits of good governance. I think this has been in the clamor for a long time. It's not personal. What is important is that the people will hold chairmen now more accountable because the funds are going directly to them.
The court decides and rule. The local government autonomy, financial autonomy is granted now. The money from the federation is going direct to the local government account. We have 774 local government. Before, the money used to go joint account, which is unfavorable to the local government to operate. They will not have access to their money.
Similarly, representatives of state governments present at the court also gave their reaction to the Supreme Court judgment.
Their lordships considered the matter and came to a conclusion that although Section 162, so 5 and 6 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria makes provision that money due to local government shall be paid through the joint account, but that provision was considered to be a discretionary provision, meaning it can be tinkered with.
We will get the certified true copy of the judgment as a body, the body of State Attorneys General of the Federation. We will study it and then we'll come up with our statement on it.
Nigerians are hopeful that with the judgment, more democratic dividends will be delivered at the grassroots where they are mostly needed. Newell Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, negotiations between organized labor and President Bola Tinubu did not come up with a compromise after 1.5-hour meeting on Thursday. Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejiocha, told newsmen at State House Abuja after the meeting that the status quo of both negotiating sides remained at 62,000 naira for the government and 250,000 naira for labor.
These negotiations come off the back of the president's decision at the cabinet meeting on June 25 to step down deliberation on the new minimum wage to allow for more engagement with stakeholders ahead of a planned executive bill. The report of the tripartite committee on minimum wage had recommended 62,000 naira minimum wage based on submissions by the federal and state governments and the organized private sector. This is despite reservations expressed by state governors that they might not be able to pay 62,000 naira.
There's 62,000 naira that has been put out there, the government side, the organized private sector, but the organized labor is still not accepting that. But we know that they will come to the table, and they have come to the table today. We know that this is going to be something that is going to be workable for Nigerians. The organized labor and government will reach an agreement.
Prior to going in for the meeting, Labour had said that it would stand on its ground for a 250,000 minimum wage. And that, it seems, is exactly what they did.
The Labour Union has asked that government allow them at least a week to consult further. We have allowed them. We are going to reconvene in the next 1 week. And we hope and we believe that at the end of the day, we will have something good for all Nigerians.
The president, it seemed, had made a counter-offer, which clearly did not sit well with the representatives of Labour.
We went in there, we made all the arguments, economic analysis, macro, micro, fiscal and monetary issues. So we put everything forward, and at the end, the president also made his remark as a president. And we all agreed that, okay, let's go back. We internalize it, we have some conversations, and that by 1 week time, we come back and we continue the meeting.
One week mentioning that we didn't go into Naira and Kobo discussion. Now, the status quo in terms of the amount, 250 and 62,000, remains until we finish this conversation. In real terms, it wasn't a negotiation, it was a discussion. And we have had that discussion. And we agreed to look at the real terms, probably and convene the next 1 week.
For now, the needle has not moved on either side, and it would take advanced negotiating skills to get both sides to come to a conclusion that is agreeable to all. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
The Nigerian Labour Congress, meanwhile, says that the union and its affiliates across the country are ready to take a bill for a national minimum wage to the National Assembly if President Bola Tinubu fails to do that. During the meeting of Labour leaders in Kano, the national president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, asked Nigerian workers to continue to be patient as the union will not relent in its efforts to get them a wage that is commensurate with the challenges of modern-day Nigeria. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin was at the meeting and now reports.
Brought together by the Northwest branch of the Medical Health Workers Union of Nigeria, these Labour leaders are meeting in Kano to evaluate the contributions of their members in the struggle for freedom and improved welfare for the Nigerian workers.
National President of Medical and Health Workers Union.
But beyond this is the struggle for the national minimum wage, and these workers say they will not lose hope, no matter the difficulty, and they will never submit themselves to frustration because they believe there is victory in the struggle for their members.
We can no longer be slaves and be answering workers. What we have pleaded with those employing us is tell us what 60,000 will do for any family in a month. Once you can break it down, we'll take it. If you convince us that 60,000, 62,000 can pay house rent, get food, and transport you to work, that is what is called a worker. If you can't pay your rent, you can't buy food, and you cannot transport yourself to the place, you are a slave, not a worker. So we are negotiating for workers, not for slaves. We are negotiating for workers, not for refugees. So as long as nobody explains to us what the wage that will take us as workers to and from work, we will not accept what is not a wage.
Kabir Ado Minjibur is the National Vice President of the NLC and the current President of the Medical Health Workers Union of Nigeria. He assured the workers that the fight for minimum wage will continue until implementation is secured.
Our prayer is to consolidate from where our predecessors stopped to maintain the standard of the union even if we cannot progress further. With this recognition by the zone, it serves as a clarion call for all of us to enable us to do the right thing and represent the zone very well.
Sharing the same sentiment of the Labour leaders include the Kano State Deputy Governor and the Speaker of the Jigawa State House of Assembly, who assured that their governments are ready to support the Nigerian workers in any way possible, but asked the workers to conduct their affairs in accordance with the law.
That the former president used his wisdom and vast experience to brought in the African tradition in managing relationships within the union from the lowest to the highest level.
Former president of the NLC, Abdulwahid Umar, Ayuba Waba, among other Labour leaders, were in attendance. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, CBCN, has urged the federal government to immediately propose amendments to the Samoa Agreement or withdraw from it if such amendments were not accepted. This is contained in a statement released on Thursday and jointly signed by President of CBCN and Archbishop of Owerri, Lucius Ogorji, and Secretary of CBCN and Bishop of Uromi, Donatus Ogun, respectively. The Catholic bishops said that they were concerned that Nigeria's civil authorities may not be fully aware of the implications of the nuanced language in the document, which threatened the nation's sovereignty and values. The bishop said, though the agreement looks innocuous and attractive on the surface, underneath it is carefully blended with postmodern secularistic ideologies that significantly undermine the moral, cultural, and religious beliefs of Nigerian citizens. The CBCN said Nigeria's decision not to sign the Samoa Agreement in November 2023 was consistent with its persistent objection to those issues, adding that its eventual signing has weakened the persistence and consistency of the objection that Nigeria has always had. The Defense Headquarters has said its intelligence has uncovered plans by terrorists affiliated to Boko Haram and the Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, to attack the nation's critical infrastructure. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known while briefing newsmen on the operations of the armed forces on Thursday in Abuja. General Buba said the military and security agencies responsible for securing critical infrastructure and facilities had in place measures to forestall the attacks. Buba called on citizens to support the military in their fight against terrorists by fishing out collaborators living among them in their communities.
Troops are fighting an adversary that adopts various forms across the various theaters. The operations are also complex in the sense that the adversary are mostly not in uniform, and this is deliberately so. They are also embedded within civilian population. This makes it challenging for us to strike without incurring civilian casualties.
Operatives of the FCT Police Command attached to the Edo Police Division have arrested one Nuhu Ezra of Gosa Kipikipi village of Lugbe Axis, Abuja, for being in possession of a skull, a human skull that is, and bones. The suspect, who was found with the body parts upon interrogation, stated that he picked them up from the bush while hunting at Kuje, adding that he intended to sell the body parts for 600,000 naira. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, FCT, Benneth Igwe, has ordered that a thorough investigation be conducted to ascertain the bearer of the body parts, the intended buyer, if the suspect killed anyone to be in possession of the body parts, and how long the suspect has been in the alleged business. The CP, according to a statement by the command spokesperson, Josephine Ade, urged residents to be aware of their environment and report suspicious activities to the police.
Sunana Ezra Nuhu. Shekaru na 55.
Okay, dai ne.
Limtu pampani.
Let's take you to Lagos State now, where the detectives from the State Police Command have taken into custody a couple. Uchenna Ezeikwe, who is 28 years old, and 22 years old Chineye Ezeikwe, for allegedly trying to sell their 2-year-old baby. The couple claim that they intend to use the proceeds from the sale of the little boy to secure relevant travel documents that will enable the man travel to Canada. The couple was said to have declared their intention to sell their baby at Isolo General in the Isolo area of the state. It was learned that the management of the hospital later informed the police at Isolo Division after agreeing to do the bidding of the couple. In their confessional statement to the police, the couple admitted attempting to sell their son for an undisclosed amount. They, however, blamed the current hardship in the country for their actions and begged for forgiveness. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayuade, who paraded the couple, said they were arrested on Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024, while attempting to sell the boy. The Court of Appeal in Abuja on Thursday affirmed Ahmed Usman Ododo of the All Progressives Congress APC as the validly elected governor of Kogi State. The 3-member justices of the court, in a unanimous judgment, held that the Social Democratic Party SDP and its candidate, his governorship candidate Murtala Yakubu Ajaka, failed to prove their allegations contained in their petition challenging Ododo's election beyond reasonable doubt as required by law. The appellate court said the Kogi State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which sat in Abuja, was right to have expunged the evidence of the first witness called by the petitioners for being hearsay documents. According to the court, the allegation of forgery of documents which Ododo submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission is a pre-election matter which will be handled by the Federal High Court and not the tribunal. Having resolved all the issues raised in the appeal against the appellant, the court dismissed the appeal for lacking in merit and upheld the judgment of the tribunal. It will be recalled that the tribunal had on May the 27th affirmed the victory of Ododo in the November 11, 2023 governorship poll. The House of Representatives has resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the activities of the NACON and the Federal Capital Territory Administration Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, their agents and their sub-agents over the lapses observed in the 2024 Hajj exercise. This followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Mohammed Umar Bio and presented at plenary on Thursday. The lawmaker, while presenting the motion, condemned the performance of NACON and the FCTA, a Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, in the 2024 Hajj exercise. He reminded the House that the Hajj exercise is important in the life of every Muslim and one of the 5 pillars of Islam. He added about 50,865 Muslim pilgrims across the state in Nigeria were under the care of NACON, adding that some of them were not taken care of in terms of welfare, organization, guidance, and monitoring as expected. Representative Bill noted that despite the huge amount paid by the pilgrims for the 2024 Hajj exercise, NACON's 2024 budget allocation intervention from the federal government to the tune of 90 billion naira and support from the government of Saudi Arabia, NACON's and FCT Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board performed below expectation in the 2024 Hajj exercise, especially in Makkah and Mina. He averred that if the poor performance of NACON is not investigated with a view to improving future performance, further Hajj exercises for Nigerian citizens may be more complicated and put the entire country in bad light in the Committee of Nations. Women from Aminigboko, Egunugang, and Owerewere communities in Abua local government area of Rivers State on Wednesday staged a peaceful protest in Aminigboko community against the alleged destruction of their farmlands as a result of oil exploration by Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited in the 3 communities. According to the women, despite being host communities to the company, they lack basic amenities like potable water, electricity, as well as healthcare facilities, adding that their situation has been worsened by the destruction of farmlands through oil spills. Trust TV's Friday Peter, has more.
The women during the protest lamented that their means of livelihood have been destroyed as they can no longer work on their farmlands due to oil spillage. They call on the state government as well as Shell Petroleum Development Company Limited to come to their aid.
See, within all my sweat, I plan for my children to pay their school fees, but look at how water don't destroy everything finish. If I put this cassava now, nothing day inside. Don't rotting finish. May the concert to loss. May the concert to loss for waiting lost. Protest.
The thing when that happen here be say, Shell don't wish us well. They don't block the canal. They don't block the flow of water. Water used to flow to the river, and now the water is flowing back to our farms. Hunger. You can see. Oh, you can see. The farm, the cassava don't rotten. It never reach up roots. And it don't rotten. Cocoa, everything, granite, plantain, everything. It don't rotten finish. That is why we are here crying the Shell.
Some of the protesters displayed the colored and polluted water they drink on a daily basis, lamenting that despite the adverse implication on their health, they have no other options due to the lack of potable water.
We don't even benefit, even the light, nothing we see. Water, nothing. And now, even the farm that we are doing to get something to eat, nothing we benefit. Now water don't come cover everything, spoil all our farms. Water, they don't already pollute the water. The water no good again. The oil don't spoil the water. So now, we just manage it. Anybody where they pregnant, if you want to deliver, now for native we they go. Because we not get hospital.
I go work for farm. The water don't spoil. Their oil don't spoil the cassava freeze. I don't know how I go do. All my body don't finish because of work. I no get money. I no get light. I no get everything. All my body don't go down. So now I make they cry God. May God give me with my village. Make it a sell. God give me do what they find and with my people, with my children and the war. See the water. Oil don't spoil them. See the water.
Some of the protesters carried different placards with inscriptions like Shell come and pay us damages for crops, among others. From Aminikbuku Community, Friday, Ibimobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
According to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria's external reserves have reached $35.05 billion as of July the 8th, 2024. This is the first time it has crossed the $35 billion ceiling under the administration of President Tinubu. According to the CBN's data on external reserves, as of May 30th, 2023, the reserves were $35.09 billion, about 14 days before the introduction of the foreign exchange unification policy in June 2023. However, when the CBN announced the FX unification policy, the external reserves dropped to $34.66 billion. From July to December 2023, the reserves fluctuated within the $33 billion range. This year, the reserves plunged to $32.11 billion on April the 19th, 2024. According to the data, while addressing the reason behind the backdrop, the CBN governor blamed the decrease in reserves primarily due to debt repayment and other standard financial obligations, RAT efforts to defend the naira. Yeah. Let's move away from Nigeria, of course. Kenya's President William Ruto on Thursday dismissed all of his cabinet ministers and promised to form a new government that will be lean and efficient following weeks of protests over high rates or high taxes and poor governance. In a televised address, the president also dismissed the Attorney General and said ministries will be run by their permanent secretaries. Ruto said he made the move after listening to the people, adding that he will form a broad-based government after consultations. Kenya has seen 3 weeks of unrest in which protesters stormed into parliament on June the 25th after a finance bill that increased taxes was passed. More than 30 people died in the protests, which have morphed into calls for the president to resign.
I have today, in line with the powers given to me by Article 1521 and 1525B of the Constitution and Sections 12 of the Office of the Attorney General's Act, decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the Cabinet Secretaries and Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, of the Cabinet of Kenya, except the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. And of course, the Office of the Deputy President is not affected in any way. I will immediately engage in extensive consultations across different sectors and political formations and other Kenyans.
Nigeria's representatives, Rangers and Remo Stars have discovered their opponents in the preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. Daily Post reports the draw ceremony was held at the CAF headquarters in Cairo, Egypt on Thursday. Nigeria Premier Football League MPFL champions Rangers were handed an easy draw as they are paired with Zali Maju of Comoros in the preliminary round. Should Rangers proceed, they will face the winner of the tie between St. Louis of Mauritius and Angola's GDSC in the second preliminary round. Remo Stars will be up against AS FAR of Morocco. The Kenya club will face either Sudan's El Marik or Libya's representative in the second preliminary round should they scale through. The first leg will be played between 16th to 18th August, while the second leg will hold between the 23rd of August. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Shegun Ujumu. Many thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.